Hi, welcome to our podcast. I'm Tzachi. Welcome to our first podcast of Unfiltered. I'm joined today with Yakir, a fellow researcher. Really love your research, Yakir, from
Thanks.
Aqua Security. Can you introduce yourself?
Yes. Hello, everybody. My name is Yakir Kadkoda, and I'm a security researcher from Aqua Security. Previously, I was a red teamer and penetration tester, and now I am mainly focused on vulnerability research around cloud and supply chain.
So, Yakir, I actually noticed that your research is being published not only on your Aqua blog site, but you actually presented a lot of conferences. So, from the outside, what conferences have you participated in the last year?
Last year, we have participant at RSA and at Black Hat Asia.
Oh, so all the big ones.
Yes.
It really seems from the outside that it's all the conferences are the same or similar. So what are the conferences that you love as a speaker? You know, you actually are able to see behind the scenes. What conferences do you think are the best to get the good quality information?
In my opinion, Black Hat and DEF CON, I think that they are more technical than other and with less marketing. I know that you have a different perspective about this. Can you elaborate?
So for me, it's all about interacting with people. So first of all, I like to present at conferences that are not pay for talk. So companies aren't buying my slot because I think our work should stood up on its own. But in those conferences, I actually like the smaller one, like the DEF CON or the first conferences, because I really like the interaction. To me, Black Hat has a lot of marketing inside, an analyst day, and a lot of swag. And it's so big, so I can't actually connect with people who come to ask questions or give feedback or have an idea on that. So I actually prefer the smaller ones. I've presented at Black Hat, I've presented with the big ones, but for me, if you want to come for the knowledge, look at conferences like OASP, FIRST, DEF CON, when you have a more intimate relationship with the speaker. But the real question, which conference has the best swag, the best present?
Wow, it's depend. Black Hat give you for speaker, they give you actually gift like around $1,000.
Whoa, that's cool.
For one speaker.
Maybe I do like Black Hat. Black Hat, if you're listening.
But yes, it's a really nice thing to get from them. But I think that in conference like RSA, you have a lot of swags from companies. Yes, last year I was left with I think 30 pairs of socks from RSA.
Exactly, the socks attack.
Yeah, socks and T-shirts.
True. So, if not conferences, and if you're getting your information from somewhere else, where do you get your information? Because you need to be on top of it to understand what's happening.
I get most of my content from Reddit, from the subreddit that's called NetSec. This subreddit has really a strong community. And my second option will be Twitter. I follow some really strong people in our community, and they tweet about really interesting idea and research that they have read. So I think this is the most place that I consume my knowledge from.
So I have to say those are like strong places. I want to give a shout out to the Risky Biz newsletter, which I think gives a great overview and a personal point of view. So I've subscribed to that newsletter and other, and then I go in deep and read for myself. But you really need to see what's happening, and then you can like go deep and really understand what's the research or what's happening or out there. Talking about research, and there's been a lot of talks about supply chain research and attacks, in particular the XZ util attacks. What is your perspective on this? I mean, you live it, you work with it on a daily-to-day basis. So it's not you were surprised, you didn't think about it. So what is your perspective on this?
I think it was a really great wake-up call for the community, because as I see it in the last year, after the AI revolution, most of the company and the security companies start to deal with AI security, which is really important things. And we forgot about supply chain. And supply chain is really big things and can affect a lot of companies. And this reminds us where we need to put our attention, and that we haven't done a lot around this area. And there are a lot of things to research.
I would agree. I think what we are missing in supply chain is the fact that this isn't the result of a bad security engineering practice. This is also the result of determined attackers. And we are really focused about how to help developers to write secure code and secure practices, but we are neglecting what the attackers are doing. We don't share information about attacks. The evidence about attacks like malicious packages is being deleted. We don't have an information sharing forum. For example, I don't believe that the XZUtil was a single attack,
Yes.
but I don't see anybody taking responsibility to track and hunt the attackers for the upcoming attack. So I think we are really focused about how to help developers and very little how to disrupt attackers.
Yes.
And a good strategy should provide both of them.
And we had a lot of luck around these incidents.
Maybe, I mean, it really makes you think it was such an odd case it was discovered this way.
Yes, only about delay of less than 1 second.
Yeah, so when I saw this, it was a delay a half a second, and I said, okay, so every software program that I use probably have a backdoor, because everybody get delayed half a second. Who actually monitors that? And shout out to the Andres who detected that, and he really saved us. But we need a more consistent and more coordinated effort to do that.
What is the odds, for your opinion, that there are something like other attacks vectors like XZUtil in our computer?
100%.
Yes?
100%.
Do you think that?
I think that we have not getting good enough at detecting those. We got lucky, but from the attacker point of view, and we both think like attacker, this is a huge attack vector.
Yes.
And it costs practically nothing, and you got a James Bond-like attack, an SSH key to log in to every Linux server in the world.
Yes, it's worse than Git bleed, not Git bleed.
Yeah, more than a bleed. But when you see people buying in millions exploit for software like iPhone, and this operation costs a couple of thousands of dollars, what do you think? They will stop now, or they will continue until they will succeed in the future if they have not in the past? So it really is a wake-up call, and it's not just about writing better code, using SBOM, it's what the attackers are doing. Can we have a mechanism in place to stop them?
Do you think that there is a nation threat actor behind this kind of attack, or it's
on a regular basis?
individual?
I actually monitor and see North Korea and Russia and Chinese threat actor. So for me, the answer is yes. There is no doubt in my mind that there are nation states, because they have the most to gain and they are well resourced. So obviously, yes.
It's interesting because the alternative was to try to find new vector of vulnerability on SSH. So how easy it is to actually poison the supply chain of this project, and the fact is one of his dependency.
I guess it's both. We're both looking at finding vulnerabilities from the nation state point of view, and maybe trying to plan them. So I guess that both are happening, and because I know so much effort is going into exploit, it makes a lot of sense. Let's poison it from the beginning and have both vectors in place. Again, I don't think that everybody that is dealing with cyber would be surprised with what we are saying. So you watch a lot of research out there. Is there a couple of research that you thought that is really interesting but didn't get the attention it deserved? People didn't understand the impact?
Yes, I saw a lot of research that I thought that did not get the attention they had to get, and for me is a really pure goal, because I can take this research and try to leverage it. Sometimes I found that the original research do not think about all the attack vector, or do not deeply understand what is found.
The impact.
Yes, and this is one of the reasons why his research wasn't so successful, or wasn't so publicly publicly discussed. Tzachi, as you read a lot of research studies, have you seen some research that you think that doesn't get their attention?
A lot of them. Good question, Yakir. Actually, one of your research, which actually showed that you can quickly triage vulnerabilities in open tickets, in open source,
yes,
and use that as a backdoor. For me, thinking is a nation state, that this is a trove of 0 days waiting to be exploited.
It's crazy.
Because you did, or the open source community did all the hard work finding those. They are waiting to be fixed, and they are publicly disclosed.
Yes, and I saw that.
From the attacker point of view, when I saw your research, I said, wow, that's amazing. And that could be leveraged to bug bounty for my viewers.
I saw research that individual that did something around $10,000 from open tickets or open
exactly. So this is like one of those. It didn't get the attention, but there are like many other research there that I think are truly amazing. But your research was, I was like, wow, that's really, really cool. And I forwarded it to all my friends. And maybe you would like to look at that. That's really cool. And so great research here.
Thank you.
So again, we are talking about the life of a researcher, and it's really cool, and you move fast, but sometimes it can be a bit frustrating, isn't it?
No, we get limousine when we are... yes, there are a lot of pressure in this profession. People only see the good aspect of this role, but there are a lot of pressure. You can't find always interesting findings. And sometimes you have researched something for 2 months, 3 months, and you have understand that it was not a valid vulnerability, or it's a work-like design according to the
manufacturer.
Yes. So sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. You need to have a lot of patience in this.
But most time it's good.
Yes. Is there any research that you have done that make you proud?
I actually take a lot of pride in mentoring my young researchers to be a public speaker. And actually, 2 of them, Tal and Guy, are actually presenting now at RSA and B-Side. So shout out to you guys. And it really makes me feel like a proud mother, seeing them on stage, doing the research, and it really is one of the things that I'm really proud about. The other stuff I would say, we have pointed to a problem in the open source ecosystem called starjacking. We actually coined the term that when developer is looking at the metadata of the package, it can be easily forged. And I just saw last week that PyPy started putting a disclaimer. This information isn't verified, don't use that.
Wow,
we weren't the first one to find the problem, but I do think actually talking about it and raising awareness, I was able to do some small change for the good. So I'm proud of that. I still have a lot of work. I'm now trying to fix the missing logs on GitHub problem. But it's always good to do something which is for the community. It's more than yourself, and actually see it going through. So I'm really proud of that.
I have a question about the starjacking. Do you see that threat actors still use this stack vector?
Yeah, they use it all the time. We see it in combination of, let's do a typo squatting, meaning the name is different for a different package, and then you see the wrong metadata, so it's quite easy to be confused. So it's an active attack vector. And
you have spoken about the GitHub event log. What is this story?
Basically, there is a decision that some access log will be available only at a premium package. I believe that access log shouldn't be a premium feature. And particularly if you give some of the logs, people are not aware that they are not getting all the logs. So they are being hacked and they don't know it. So either put it under a paywall or give it for free. Splitting it in the middle is a bad choice, in my opinion.
Yes, it's really a strong decision to start to limit logs from users. I think that lack of logs is one of the top OWASP.
Yeah, I mean, I've talked about that. I think it will change over time, and I think there is a good movement from Microsoft in particular, going to the secure by design and actually pushing the organization into that. And I think that secure by default, secure by design by default, I think access log should be.
And access log could help us in the exutil incident, in your opinion?
No, I have to say no. There isn't like one fix to everything. In the exutils, we need a different mechanism there, because it's not that somebody hacked the contributor.
Yes.
The contributor was
malicious
actually
himself.
malicious himself. So it's a different attack point in that case.
So I have a question. As you are really a known influencer in the cybersecurity field at Israel, why do you think that Israel is so successful in this field?
Basically, I would say the army, but two different reasons, because there are bigger armies and other nations are dealing with cyber attacks. So basically, on one end, there is a mandatory recruitment in Israel, and the army is really good in picking the best and the brightest. On the other end, when you do get to your unit in the army, like in the intelligence corps, they were able to build like a very unorthodox structure. If you're talented, you'll be the leader. So it's even more than corporate. I mean, you don't have to be a team leader. It's not based on experience. It's based on abilities. So picking the brightest to a place that you may feel that you're a researcher and you're going to black hat, but at your unit, everybody is as smart as you, and you're only being judged on your abilities, not your rank, not your time in the service. So those two get people really believing in the self, and talented people believing in the self, and then when they go out, it feels natural for them to question everything, to believe in the self. So this is like the mixed sauce. One end military, the other end really non-orthodox structure of if you have the abilities, go and do it. So what are the research that you are planning to publish in the coming weeks? I mean, are you excited about them? What should we expect?
Yes, we have a lot of research that are mainly focused in secret scanning. I know
Isn't secret really been done?
It seems so boring, but we found really new attack vectors and new methodology that to find secrets that no other secret scanning tools can find. And this leads us to really great or severe impact on really popular companies like Microsoft and other from the top 100 fortunes. And the other, it's about cloud. We found an interesting attack vector against AWS, but we will publish it, I hope that at Black Hat or at DEF CON, but
seems fun.
we'll
I
speak
know
about
I will
this.
read this research, of course. So being a researcher, is this as glamorous as people dealing with IT things?
No. It's the same things like programmer or other roles. I definitely think that this profession is with a lot of passion and with adrenaline and exciting, but it's like other role. You need to be good and read material and to be updated.
So when you're invited to Black Hat, there isn't a limo waiting your arrival and you don't eat with golden plates and...
No.
I know you're an active bug bounty practitioner. So I haven't done bug bounty. What is your ideas on that?
I think that bug bounties is really effective things to do in company in terms of security. A lot of research that we have done, we found that companies that have bug bounty program have really less chance to be vulnerable to our attack vector or our new attack vector because they have community of bug bounters that are trying to actively search for attack vector on them or new way to enter to their environment. And company without bug bounty program, we found keys for their production environment and really bad things that could happen to them. And it's even worse, you do not know how you can disclose your finding to them. You need to find the CEO on LinkedIn and report him your finding directly. And it's really mess if you don't have
a program in place.
Yes, program in place. It's there.
I think the most successful thing we have done at the cyber community is the concept of bug bounty. I really think that bug bounty has transformed the pace and the ability of us to fix stuff, because actually it got everybody involved. And I think I would like to see, like with the NIST new standard, security by design, by default, a bug bounty being mandatory. So I think it's proactive, it is always on, and it's the best spent of resource to actually get the security posture of a company way up. So Yakir, thank you for coming, being our first guest on the show. This is what I would like to say, yet another podcast. The world really needs more security podcasts, and I'm happy to share my podcast to the community. Wow, now we'll be secure. But really, thank you for being the first guest.
Thanks for having me.
And see you in the conference round. And looking forward to read your upcoming research about secrets.
Thank you.